Yo, Brett Parker here, handicapped scratch. Today I'm down here with Dan Whittaker. We just finished off on the lesson. So we're just going to have a kind of a general chit chat. I'll include as much as I can, more to discuss where we're going in the next year. So obviously I've booked up with Dan for the next year. We're going to aim for somewhere close to a lesson a week.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Yeah, he's going to help me along with my quest to scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, a few questions really just to straight away get into it.
Yeah.
It's difficult for you obviously because you don't see me week in, week out. You're not with me on the course in terms of what I need to work on. So I'll kind of ask more broad questions in terms of like a general golf. Now that I'm down to 5-6,
yeah,
where's where the focus need to be?
Okay, from what I've seen the one time we were on the course, I think at the moment you have been losing a lot of shots around the greens because you haven't got enough versatility.
Yeah.
Okay, so particularly the course you're playing at, that usually where you play most of your tournament round, let's say, Sandy Way, I think there's too many run-offs around the greens that if the pin is anywhere near the edge of those run-offs, I don't think you can create enough spin to be able to control those. I also had that one chipping lesson before I went on holiday. I think we need to advance that area. I think you're putting, you've got loads of scope for improvement there.
I agree.
The strokes a little off.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
No,
so
you can say how it is.
Okay. it's not as, you definitely not get starting the balls online as you need to. You don't get it starting on your intended lines. You tend to kind of miss those a little bit.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'm going to be determined to make sure we get done is over the next few months is in terms of your swing. It's enhanced a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a couple of things that we need to start getting better. I want to get the hands a little bit more forwards at impact.
Yeah.
Get that elbow more forwards. But I don't want to see any slippage in terms of like backswing and things like that. So going forwards now, probably one of the really important bits that we need to do every week and build into your practice plan is an element at the start of every session and maybe even at the end, a reminder of what you have actually been working at.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're backing up your sessions and making sure that you aren't just becoming totally engrossed in the brand new stuff, because obviously that's going to take your most attention.
Kind of everything I was. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not. But it's so easy to do that.
No, definitely.
You know, we all have this habit of going, this is new, this is so cool and fun, I want to just go down that track. Whereas really, what it's at that point we need to make sure, you know, keep our eyes on the old stuff, because it's not going to be embedded yet. You know, we saw that with the backswing today.
Yeah.
It slipped a bit. It took less than an hour, and we got it back to looking absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of one of the big bits I want to work on.
Okay, I'd agree 100% with the chipping and putting. I agree with everything you said, really. And especially at Sandy Way, there are the drop-offs at the weekend I played, and there was a few pins at the front where I missed.
Yeah.
And I just can't stop them on that pins. I'm almost having to put it to get it as a percentage shot, as opposed to I know I should be chipping it, but I'm not gonna get the shot I want.
And I mean, at Sandy Way at certain times of the year, if it's firm and short, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
But suddenly, you know, they grow a little bit of rough in a couple of those areas.
And I'm in
now
trouble.
all of a sudden you're going, I've got to drive a shot into a bank like this.
Yeah.
Hope that I can judge how hard I hit it in the bank to pop it up and hope it doesn't run off on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, 1 in 100 that hope will all come together and it'd be great. But you know, the other times it's just going to be really hit and miss.
Yeah.
I would also say that now that you're driving the ball a lot better and hitting it further, it'd be really interesting to do all your pitching numbers and every single month do a full pitching test.
Yeah,
you know,
so like, in terms of positions.
In terms of positions, and then do a couple of the wedge tests. I've got to do the random wedge test and do a sequential one, which is obviously just numbers going up in sequenced order.
Yeah.
See what you get. You know, potentially next lesson or the one after, do both tests, mark them down, see where we are, see that as like, right, this is start of the, you know, the ready for next season sort of thing.
So like, here's where I started.
Here's where you are. This it's what you're doing. Boom, and away we go. And then what we'll be able to find as well is that it might be the odd yardage that you struggle with, and that might be just where you are a little bit in between two club lengths. It might be where you don't feel comfortable on a swing length, but we don't really know what that's going to be yet. So that'd be something interesting.
I definitely think that's something we will, because I already know I'm getting tendencies of I don't like to play this yardage. So I definitely think we need to bottom that out. And as I get closer to scratch, there's no yardage I shouldn't be able to play. I need to start playing all the yardage.
Got to play more.
Yeah. So
I had a lad a few years ago say, I don't like 60, so I'll avoid it. So I said, are you that good on the way up? You're going to leave it to 70 and it's not going to bounce on to 62 in.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen. You just need to get good at it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd agree. Okay. From your experience, so obviously I'm fairly new to this and new to golf, and especially new to category 1 and lower down. What's a realistic goal for next year?
2 would be a great season.
Okay. So what's a year from here? So year is essentially, it's almost the end of next season, really.
Yes.
Isn't it? Realistically.
If we said if you said right, end of next September, if you got down to 2 or 3,
Yeah.
I think you've had a great year.
Okay, good.
Only because at this stage now, every stroke you understand the scratch, you're only coming down 0.1.
Yeah.
So unless we're starting to shoot a fair few under pars,
Yeah.
grosses, or level pars,
Yeah.
which you maybe have 5 under, so you might lose 0.5, 0.6,
Yeah.
and then 0.4. It's just, I just think it's hard to
Yeah,
do.
and I understand that as well, in the sense that 11 to 5 this year is a big jump, but it's in reality it's probably the difference between 4 and 3
Yes.
because of obviously how quickly I can reduce.
Yeah.
So I think in short term, in terms of the goals, I've never shot an under par round. So in the short term, that's definitely one I need to get ticked off the box.
Well, what we should look at is look at some goals that the scratch players do.
Yeah.
Shoot an under par round. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you do a round where you get every green in regulation?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you done a round where every green you've missed you've up and down?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what you need to do is to make those things start to happen. You start going out and you have games where you play worst ball.
Yeah.
So you go out there and you don't just you play a Texas scramble,
Yeah.
but you're playing the worst ball every
Yeah.
time.
Rather than the best one.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it's almost
So that would be definitely the way
the
to
3
go.
things you've said there. If I do them in the reverse order, I'll get my under par round. If
Of
I
course.
start hitting my greens, if I start hitting my regulations, I'll get my under par round. So
And
yeah.
I also think though, if you get your short game phenomenal and learn to scramble and then learn to score when it's ugly.
Yeah.
On that's what the worst ball is essentially going to make you do as
Yeah.
well. It makes you have to score when it's going to be ugly. At that point, if you can do that, that's the bit that ties you from being a 2 over to a 2 under.
Yeah.
Because you've missed 2 greens and instead you've stiffed them or you've chipped 1 in
Yeah.
and you've gained a load of strokes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you miss those greens and you just kind of go, I missed 4 greens, I've dropped 4 shots.
Yeah, which is the way I am at the minute.
Yeah.
If I don't hit the green and I've not got the ability to 2-pot, I feel like I've already lost a shot because I'm not getting up and down, percentage-wise enough. I'm still going into the chip confident enough to make the shot, but I'm just not doing it. I'm just not making it enough.
I
So,
agree.
I totally agree with that. Okay, so they're my goals for the next year. Winter.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Last year I spent probably 3 or 4 days a week at the driving range and just mindlessly hit balls until I could mindlessly hit balls until I got bored.
Right,
basically.
okay, yeah.
So I'd like a bit more of a plan this year. Obviously, being on board with you will help. So what's the plan?
Okay, so what I want to do is, going into the winter to start off with, is...
Which, by the way, if you've not been down here at Highley, you have to get down here. Winter's going to be great in here.
It will be good.
I can't wait for this in here.
So what we want to do going into the winter is going to be, when you go to the driving range, is to go there with a purpose for every session.
Yeah.
So I don't see a lot of point in doing a lot of shot shaping leading up to Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're not going to be playing in that many diverse conditions that you're
Yeah.
going to take advantage on it. What we're going to look at is most of those sessions leading up to Christmas are going to be very much time phased, and what I mean by that is it's going to be time phased to the time of year of what you're able to play in.
Okay.
So that's going to be, you can't get your handicap down that time of year,
Yeah.
okay? But what can you improve technically?
Yeah.
Okay, and go down there and make it so that your technical work, the vast majority of it is done before, say, the end of January.
Okay.
So then we're able to then start to monitor it a little bit more going forwards.
Yeah.
Because then as March comes, well, there won't be any better ale, but you never know, we could be lucky. It's Manchester.
Yeah.
So if going into that time of year, then we might start adding skills tests in, then we can start adding shot shaping in, and we can add in those during each session, or have their own specific session, should I say. And let's say as you go to the range 3 times a week or 4 times a week, let's say at that time of year you might be doing 2 ball flight sessions and 2 technical sessions.
Okay, yeah, so it's more focused on what I'm doing at the range.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's say that you go to the range, and if you've got a skills test, you might be doing a fairways test where you've got points, and what we'll do is you will do one of each test every week or every 2 weeks, depends how many skills tests we look at. And then what you can do is mark those down, and then the time after you go, you can then start to see
develop it.
see whether you're better than it, see whether you're worse than it, see how you do. Because what that will then do is it'll give a bit of competitiveness into your practice. But the other thing it'll do is actually bring nerves into it. Because we know there's no such thing as nerves apart from like in between here.
Exactly.
But if you're beating your personal best or know that you're on to beat your personal best with 2 drives to go, you might start tightening
and
up
not only
things
that,
like that.
but knowing that I'm going to have to come here and tell you that I wasn't as good as I was last week.
Yeah.
I'm getting worse. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's good. It's good to have an actual focus and something to work towards instead of obviously mindlessly hitting balls like I was last year. So unfortunately the video did cut short here. The good news is we got through everything we wanted to get through. Everything was covered, all the questions that I wanted to get asked were answered, so that was good. It was good to see Dan's ideas for my winter period as opposed to mine and what I had in my head. They're kind of similar, but Dan's is a lot more focused, and we need these steps achieved over the winter period. The plan is to recap this video in about 6 to 8 months, probably as we're coming out the winter period. It'll be about halfway through my year's worth of lessons with Dan, and it'll be good to then reevaluate how we're going forward in the summer, what comps we're going to play, what things we're going to work on, how we're going to get my handicap down as far as I can in the next winter period. I'm under no illusions that getting from 10 to 5 is going to be a lot easier than getting from 5 to scratch, so I'm not expecting to by the end of next year be down at scratch, but in the same sense I'm not setting my goal any less. So scratch next year is the goal, and we'll see how we get on from there. So it'll be scratch every year until I finally do make it scratch. It's good to see Dan's perspective on my game. He's only been on the 1 course lesson with me, but it was good to see his perspective. My short game definitely needs the work. My putting I knew needed the work, and it was good to get that kind of reaffirmed and him on board in terms of, right, we're going to work on this. So it's good to have that in place, and it's just good to have this informal chat now and again. If you're seeing a coach at the minute and you're planning on seeing them long term, it's definitely worth doing this. You don't necessarily have to record it, but it's definitely worth sitting down, just seeing where they're going, rather than just going to every lesson, then fixing the one problem that you've got that week. Actually sitting down and saying, right, this is the weak part of your game, let's work on this and work towards a goal of some sort. So that's what I've done. I've got the year's worth of, as I keep mentioning, year's worth of lessons with Dan, and I've got a plan in place for those years worth of lessons. So rather than just mindlessly working week to week, and before I know it 8 months has gone and no further on, we've got a place, plan in place. This is the structure. Dan's going to give me a winter plan to work on at the range and at the weekends when I can work on the course. He'll give me a plan for that, and obviously I'll be having the lessons as much as I can. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I've got loads of lessons coming with Dan. So my iron lessons, my chipping, my putting. I've already got a driver lesson on there, and there will be more lessons to come as well. That's it. If you haven't checked out my channel before, do check out my channel. I post content as much as I possibly can, just tracking my progress. Subscribe, you'll be the first to get all the new content that comes. Give this video a like, it helps. And if you've got any comments about my game or what I can do to get better, or any suggestions at all, just leave a comment down below. If you haven't seen Dan, make sure you check in the links to the description below. If you need a coach and you're in this area or you're prepared to travel, Dan's a fantastic coach, well worth the time. The facilities he's got down there at Highley is incredible. And if you don't know, he also has a YouTube channel. Check out the link in the description for that as well. Great content, and really explanatory, and explains everything he does, and it's just really detailed. He goes into so much depth in the videos, but without boggling your mind. So yeah, definitely check out that. So yeah, that's it. I don't know if you can hear, it's now raining here in the UK as always. So tonight's driving range practice, we're just working on technique as the plan suggests for the summer. Working on technique for my practice, which is from my last lesson, which is coming this week. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you hit subscribe and you'll be the first to see when it comes up. See you soon.